Hello, I'm Ben Dethridge, and I'm the host of Getting Up to Speed. We talk to sprint car drivers from the Pacific Coast, whether they race in Oregon, Washington, California. If they run it, we're going to talk about it. We also branch out a little bit, as well as drivers that perhaps are from here that race elsewhere, or some drivers that come in and try and take some money from the West Coast. In these episodes, we talk about past experience, past seasons, as well as upcoming races, as well as how's the season going. We hope you enjoy these episodes. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps us out. And stay tuned for more and more content. Now let's get into the interview. Well, our next guest on Getting Up to Speed is looking to capture the Kevin Gobrook Memorial Rookie of the Year with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. It'll be his second year on the road with the Outlaws, but the first ever full-time. He's out of Cobble Hill, British Columbia, Canada, and he races for the Sides Motorsports number 7S. It's Robbie Price coming up next. Well, here we are, our next esteemed guest out of Cobble Hill, British Columbia, Canada, driving the Sides Motorsports number 7S. It is Robbie Price. Robbie, welcome. Looking forward to this deal.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, would you have ever imagined in your life, like let's rewind 10, 15 years ago, Robbie Price, World of Outlaw sprint car driver, would that have been imaginable at all?
I mean, that was always the goal, but it's a hard gig, and it's even harder to come by. So I definitely feel very fortunate to be able to, to say that I've reached that goal. Obviously, I still have more goals and everything like that, but getting there is halfway, right?
Absolutely. It's not about how you get there; it's that you get there sometimes.
That's right.
Just reviewing 2022, ended up 16th in World of Outlaw points, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, 34 starts. Those 2 top 5s coming August 27th at Red River Valley Speedway in West Fargo, North Dakota, and Skagit Speedway on September 3rd. Those runs had to feel oh so great for you, of what I'm sure was just a learning curve year.
Yeah, no, they were really good. Obviously we got them back-to-back type deal. Not back-to-back, but we got the one on the final night at Red River Valley there, and then the final night at Skagit. So there was 2 races in between that. I think I ran 11 to both those ones at Skagit, and obviously the top 5. And it was great. Obviously we've been kind of starting to work together a lot better than we were at the beginning, and just kind of stuff was starting to gel. And even the next weekend at Elma, I qualified decent, was on the front row of the heat race, and had a small parts failure, but so we didn't really have the result for the speed we had. And then the following weekend at Chico, I had a good run going on my prelim night until I made a driver error. So those couple of weeks there were good. We were clicking together pretty good. So hopefully we can kick off last year how we were there towards the middle of summer last summer.
Well, I guess you could call 2023 a sophomore season for you. However, you weren't in the 7S for the full season last year, so this has got to be kind of exciting because there'll be a few new tracks that you'll see, I think.
Yeah, no, I looked through the schedule. There's a handful of them that I haven't been to, and there's a couple more there that it'll only be my second time back. But I'm excited. I'm still eligible for Rookie of the Year this year, so that would be a cool accomplishment. Got some tough competition, but everybody loves an underdog, so it should be good. Hopefully we can go back to the places that we ran decent at last year and run even better, and in the places that we ran not so good at, just make improvements every night.
I know that you guys had run a lot here in the Pacific Northwest and in California, but there was a year or so there where you guys went on the road 360-wise and got to see a lot of part of the country and get some new track experience. Did that help at all when you made the transition with the Sides Motorsports team?
Of course. I ran the ASUS National year, 1 full year, and then half a year, 2 years. So really, it was 3 years out on the road, 2 out there in my own stuff, and that really helped me, know what to expect, know the ins and outs of, racing and go to the car wash, and doing everything throughout the week, and, managing your time well, and, learning new racetracks and showing up and what to expect, and just try and keep, morale high.
No, absolutely, because it's very easy, I think, to get in a bad rut, and it can be very difficult to get yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. You get in a bad mental rut, and it really, hurts you for your racing performance, and you go to the racetrack and you're already behind the eight ball mentally. So keeping up on that, and just trying to stay as positive as possible, and just remind yourself that there's a reason why you're there.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Giving everyone the reason why you got the chair and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Of all the racetrack, you said that there's going to be some places that you're going to take a second crack at it. Which some of those are you really looking forward to? Is there any in particular?
Not really in particular, but the bigger half mile stuff and like Port Royal, Eldora, and Knoxville. I'd like to improve on those. Being from the West Coast, we don't really have a whole lot of half mile experience and everything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Knoxville probably the most out of all those, and I still struggle there a lot. I mean, it takes years to get good at them places. So I felt at times decent. Just got to chip away at it and know that it won't happen overnight, but hopefully it'll come over time and get some good runs going there.
Well, hopefully there's no places on the schedule that you're dreading to go to because it's just like a puzzle that you can't solve.
That's right. There's some places that I'm not super happy about, but you got to be able to fight through it, and hopefully some of those places become your favorites once you get them figured out.
Well, and I'm sure it really helps too, where you got just the absolute wealth of knowledge and experience in the Sides brothers helping you, Jason and Paul. And I'm sure they've been giving you great tips, great advice, but also hopefully that there's some other drivers that have kind of taken you out under their wing and, like give you pointers. Is that been a common occurrence on the road?
Jay helps me probably the most out of everybody. He's been to all these places before, dozens of times. So that's really nice to have, just kind of a notebook to lean back on. And, everybody kind of sticks to themselves out there. They're all there to do a job, and that's win. So not too much like that, but, we park beside a lot of good guys all the time. And most of the time you can just watch and pick up stuff and everything like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it definitely helps.
And how's Jason been doing transitioning to a car owner? Have you noticed that he's seeming to have fun and enjoying it?
I'd like to think so. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be back if he wasn't enjoying it. So
Sure.
he seems to be enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and we get along pretty good. So far so good. And just keep on moving on to what the next day. Just chip away at it one day at a time.
Yeah, no doubt. And for folks that don't know much about Robbie, for those Midwesterners or East Coasters or Ohioans, Cobble Hill is located on Vancouver Island by the provincial capital of Victoria, which everyone thinks Vancouver, BC is the capital of the province of BC, but it's not. It's actually it's Victoria on the island, but near, unfortunately, the recently closed Western Speedway.
Yeah, I grew up going to Western. I didn't really get to race it until I was 16, I think. I had already been racing on the dirt and everything like that for almost 10 years before I ever ventured out there. And then I got an opportunity to run a local guy's car. I ran that for a year and a half. And then I went and ran my dad's car a handful of times there. And I won a couple races there, so that's really cool to be able to say I did. And it's a real shame that it got closed down and everything like that. And I was pretty upset that I couldn't get to go at least watch the last race. But there's new ownership on Saratoga Speedway up north there. It's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Western, and they're in good hands. Racing on the island's in really good hands there. The whole Layton family is doing an amazing job of that place, and I hope everybody up there just supports it as much as they can. It's not very often you get people come into racetrack, new ownership and everything like that, and do such big improvements. It's just hard to find nowadays. People are looking to make it better instead of just looking to line their pockets.
No doubt, and it's really the only place left on the island because Cassidy Speedway, which was a dirt track, that's gone. Saratoga, which by the way is a pavement track, and so is Western. and then let's see, there was Triport, I think, around Port Hardy, way up north on the island. But it's good that they realize that they got something really special, and they're not tossing away the opportunity.
Yeah, no, they're not going to give up. They do everything 100%. I've been up there, several times growing up, and then I've been up there several times since, with the Layton family and everything like that. It's night and day difference. It's a whole new place, and it's in the top 5 of nicest places I've ever been as far as racetrack goes.
Absolutely. And again, going for people that may not know you, you have a lot of pavement sprint car background as well as dirt track sprint car background, which is very unique. You don't really see that a lot. You might have maybe, more than 2 decades ago, but you're a rare breed.
Yeah, no, my dad grew up racing pavement sprint cars at Western and all that stuff. We went out to Calgary a couple times, and I was always tagging along on those trips. And then obviously we went the dirt route, and then like I said, a couple years into it, I think I was 16 or 17, somewhere around there. Got the opportunity to run a year and a half, 2 years on the pavement, and it was definitely a cool experience. I'm glad I did it. And I'm glad I got to, run at places like Meridian and a Western Speedway and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool little racetracks, and I just want to go to them all.
Sure, yeah. Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington. That's one of my favorite pavement tracks to go to. That's a cool place. So Douglas County now going to be dirt. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, I never ran there. I ran Evergreen, I think, before they redid it, so I'd like to try it again. I ran Wenatchee, was a really cool place, but I ran Meridian and a Western more than anything. Mm-hmm. The Douglas County deal, really cool deal. I hope it works out for them. There's a great group of people behind that deal.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of a cool deal, we rewind the clock a little bit. It seems like it was yesterday, but at the same time, it was before COVID, so it feels like a whole other lifetime. 2019 Dirt Cup champion at Skagit Speedway. That just had to feel incredible. Does that still rank among the highest achievements in your racing career?
Yeah, for sure. That's obviously my biggest win. Hopefully it won't be, but it is right now. So, it was really cool. That was my first full year out on the road and my own stuff, managing the team, driving the truck and doing everything like that. So to be able to, win one of the biggest races on their schedule and the biggest race in the Northwest was a huge accomplishment.
I mean, besides winning and coming across first place at the line, what else do you remember about that night? Did everything that weekend just seem the stars aligned and the brakes went your way, or were you having to kind of circle the wagons a little bit?
No, we were really good all weekend. We ran 6th the first night, 3rd the second night, led some laps the second night, and then the final night, everything just kind of lined up. I was pretty laid back all weekend, I feel like, and it just kind of was a weird weekend looking back on how laid back and stuff just kind of gelled all weekend. And, I felt I was pretty relaxed all weekend and a good mental state all weekend, and I think that really helped Saturday night and put the whole deal together.
And Robbie, I guess this is divulged by any way you can, but how did the whole meeting / hiring go for being put in the 7S team and being a part of the World of Outlaw sprint car tour?
Yeah, no, Jay put out that little deal there when he was in Bristol last year that he was looking for somebody young to come along and see if they can fill in and do some learning. And while he was on the men, so I called around and then made a couple phone calls, and we kind of came up with a deal where I brought a couple of my guys aboard and ironed out a deal for the remaining of the year last year, and then it obviously went semi decent. So we made another deal happen for this year and just kind of go from there.
Oh, that's really awesome. Yeah, and that's wonderful that it had sort of went from what easily could have been just like, hey, it's just a temporary stint, you get some experience, we keep our car on the road kind of deal, but it's turned into a really good relationship.
Yeah, exactly. It was just kind of a deal last year where we were just talking about, doing a couple races or, a portion of what he had going on, and I was going to try and run the 21P still, and we ran a couple races, and he was happy, and I was happy, and it's just kind of a progress from there.
Well, hopefully it's something that sticks around for many, many years.
Yeah, I'd like to hope so too. I feel like we're gelling pretty good right now. So I mean, as long as we get to running more and more together, I think we'll start to do better and better. Hopefully, compete for some wins.
No doubt. Let's see, going to be running for Rookie of the Year for the World of Outlaws. That'll be a high achievement because there's, you look at the list of the drivers that have accomplished that feat. There is some amazing individuals that have went on to do some amazing things.
Yeah, it'll be a cool accomplishment. Hopefully I can do it. Like I said, there's some tough competition. Obviously Gio has outlaw wins already, and I don't have any, so he's definitely got the leg up. But stranger things have happened, and it's just putting together decent nights, night after night after night, and consistency really. So we'll see. Hopefully have some good nights and see if I can't hang on.
No doubt. And how cool is it? I mean, obviously you had good runs at Skagit, and you said you were okay at Elma, but how cool is it? You came back as an ASCS national driver, but to come back to the Pacific Northwest as a World of Outlaw racer, did it feel more special or just as special, or there was no difference?
It was just as I'd say. It's pretty cool, being gone a long time. You obviously get to go home and see everybody you don't get to see and see familiar faces at the racetrack. I love racing as Gadget, and then obviously I haven't really raced there, just the outlaw races last year since the new ownership. But I've seen some of the things that they've done and the improvements. So it's always cool to see, to go back home and see people, like I said, I don't get to see very often anymore. I went away for years on the road, or a year and a half or 2 years on the road, and then obviously half a year last year. So it's always cool to come back and see what's going on and see familiar faces and everything like that. We obviously don't get out to the West Coast nearly as much as if I lived in Pennsylvania or Indiana or anything like that. So the 2 weeks I get to spend at home are obviously nice.
Yeah, no doubt special. No doubt special. So as far as team news, your guys' schedule, which obviously is going to mirror the World of Outlaw schedule so much, but for the most recent updates, or people may not be able to make it to a race anytime soon, but they want to get some apparel, what's the best way for folks to find that information out?
Just follow my Facebook page, Robbie Price Racing. Obviously, I don't have anything concrete on the apparel yet, but I am working on some things. So
okay.
As soon as you can just follow along on that, and as soon as I have something figured out, obviously there'll be an announcement out on there and links and everything like that. So it's in the works, and it should be here pretty quick, but nothing concrete yet.
Okay. Well, and I'd just like to give you the floor. Is there any sponsors, individual people that you want to thank to make all of this happen, obviously for this year, as well as to get you to this point from years prior?
Yeah, no, just everybody that supported me over the past couple of years, and then obviously everybody that supported Jason's deal. Coming to mind for my stuff is, the Layton family, my family, the Houston family, everybody that's, supported me through racing at home and everything like that, and then venturing out my own stuff and now helping me put together this 7S deal. Jay's obviously got a lot of good people behind him too, with the Weatherton Tractor Service and, everybody else on his Dance Logistics. Saratoga's on there now, and I brought that along. He's got a lot of people behind him, behind the scenes even, that, help out. And, it might be a small sticker on the car, but it means a lot to us. So I appreciate everybody just helping out and, helping me personally and through the 7S operation.
No doubt. And how fun is it, going from track to track with those guys? I heard that they're an absolute hoot to hang around with. So I'm sure there's some stories you can't tell, but I'm sure there's also some good things, because on the road it can get a little tedious.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes like Groundhog Day, same thing over and over. So, being around a good group of people and people that like to have fun, obviously take some of the monotony out of it, and it's just just try to have as much fun as possible. We're privileged to be able to do this day after day, and consider this a career or just a job for the time being. But either way, we're very fortunate, and that we get to be able to do this.
No doubt. Well, we wish you the most of luck, and maybe we'll be giving you a phone call a couple times this year as the season progresses, just to do some progress reports, and hopefully they'll be great.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right, thanks again, Robbie Price, everybody. Thanks a ton, Robbie, for coming on board and doing this interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to this latest episode of Getting Up to Speed with me, Ben Dethridge. We hope you enjoyed this program. We hope also that you hit the subscribe button and the like button, as that really helps things out, spreads things out. Be sure and share as well on social media so that more people can listen to these great interviews and from these great drivers. Getting Up to Speed is a production of Highside Racing Promotions. For more information, you can check it all out on Facebook at Highside Promotions.